your New Year's resolution with LifeLock to save 40% off your first year. Use the promo code Hannity. Terms apply.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3".
Hey, I'm 560 KBL. You, Russ Cark, with you on a Friday. Thank God it's Friday already. Dean's here.
Yeah,
which unusual. Friday, Wednesday.
Yes, well, because I'll be up at the SHOT Show next week and on Wednesday, and I may not have much time to get in.
Yes,
that's right. So I'm coming in today.
Of course, George is back in today.
SHOT Show.
SHOT.
Hello? What's the SHOT Show?
It's the biggest industry show in the world up in Las Vegas for gun-related, related, sport-related, shooting sports, hunting up in Las Vegas. It's just huge. You can't possibly.
It's kind of like a food fair with guns.
Well, I need a used Remington 12 gauge semi-automatic. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't think that's the place to get it. But
no, I gotta go to. Tell you can go to Gunbroker online. They have bunches of them.
Yeah, go to some breaks.
That's what I used to have.
What'd you do with it?
It got lost in the estate of Judge Stanley. He had all. He had all the guns that he had during. They were doing up the estate. My gun was over there and
got mixed in.
It just got disappeared. Because I kept my dove hunting stuff over at his house and his gun safe.
You can't take it to D.C. I don't think.
The guns I have in Washington D.C. actually are in Arlington at the gun safe for the Secret Service.
Oh, why would
you recall the model?
Store that for you?
Because they will. And the best part about it is they'll be, when we were having the riots, they called me up. They said, "Do you want us to come by and drop off a weapon?" And I said, "No. Red Rock Resort in Las Vegas has already bought me a plane ticket, and I'm on the first flight out of here."
So, do you recall what model shotgun it was?
Remington.
Yeah, but there's there's a Remington 11, 1148,
1100. 12 gauge.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
semi-automatic. It was quite an older one.
They're not very expensive.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, could be anything.
Well, I mean, seriously, if you guys wanted, we were here for dove hunting several years ago, and rather than play golf, I went to the gun show over at the Civic Center.
Oh, there's gun shows here about every 3 months.
And I mean, it was just a really great one. I got pick locks for all the, for my godson and
that's what you want to get a kid. Yeah, learn how to pick a lock.
Well, his father would have all these locks sitting on the table, and he was sitting there watching TV, learning how to pick locks.
I got a question for you, George. And
I got an answer for you.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. There's a organization, a travel organization that took a look at, I think, 100 different sites that people would go and visit, destination places that are must-sees and all that. And the worst one out of the 100, what do you think that would be? Of all the destination points and the tourist trap. The thing, where's that?
Don't you remember that? Where you used to drive?
Yeah, it's on 10, isn't it?
Yeah, when you were driving along and it would say, "Have you seen the thing? The thing. Go see the thing."
What is the thing?
Well, it was like a museum. It was kind of like the original P.T. Barnum thing.
Yeah.
And he had a museum in New York, and we used to do all kinds of weird things to get people to come in. Like he'd have a guy who walked around the block and would put bricks down. And then he comes around and he'd pick up a brick and walk up to the next brick and put that down and pick up the brick that was there and go to the next brick and do the same thing.
No, I don't think
they had a whole crowd. Once he had a whole crowd following him, he would turn right and go into the P.T. Barnum's museum. And so everybody would buy to go into the museum.
Right.
my favorite one was all of a sudden he had too many people in the museum,
I want to get back to this, George.
and he would go back, and so he put a big sign up that said egress, so everybody would try to go and see what the egress was.
Yeah, so it's a big monster. The hotspot that was the worst tourist designation is Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, it used to be neat.
Well, yeah. I thought you'd relate to that. I mean,
No. It used to be Hollywood used to be wonderful, and there, one of the guys that's running for governor actually says that what Los Angeles could do if they wanted to
well,
is turn it back into the place to go for.
it's not now. Out of the top 100 tourist attractions around the world, they found out it underwhelmed visitors more than any other.
Well, it's not just that, but the homeless and,
Well, that's
the hookers and
that's the whole
and everything
reason
else
why.
there. The one thing I always thought was kind of cool though was the Magic Castle is still there up in the hills. The guy who played Barney on How I Met Your Mother, Doogie Howser, and several other magicians that are actors actually got in and saved it because of the fact that during COVID, the guy who was running the place, first off, whose idea was it to put germaphobes and hypochondriacs in charge of our healthcare during COVID in the first place?
Like Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, Dr.
I mean,
Fauci.
it was the dumbest idea in the entire world. I actually got on an elevator. I'll never forget this. With a buddy of mine, and we were in a parking garage, and we were both putting on our masks. And so, college kid turned his back on us in the thing. And I believe that hypochondria and germophobia are treatable mental disorders. And so I start going, I look over at my buddy and I go, so what did the doctor say about the rash that you have? Is it still on your genitals? And is it still that contagious? And all of a sudden this kid turns around, doe-eyed, and realizes he can't get off the elevator without touching one of us. And when we get out of the elevator, my buddy looks up, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, didn't you ever see the movie Ghost? And the guy turns around, pulls the mask off, and throws it down on the ground and goes, my mom's favorite movie. I should have known. Because they're at the very beginning, Patrick Swayze and the villain.
And you keep finding strings, but I want to finish this
story.
Okay, yeah. Apparently, the area is run down dirty, full of shady pictures. The prices are so high in restaurants and gift shops. No celebrities there.
No.
At all. You're not going to meet them. But how many the Chamber of Commerce, I guess, is in charge of this Hall of Fame, putting stars down. How many new stars in the Hall of Fame do you think they put down in a year?
I don't know. But
2 a month.
24 a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how much it costs to get a star?
You have to pay for them?
Oh, yeah. Somebody has to pay for it.
What would you be willing to pay?
Well, it's $42,000.
No.
That's what it costs.
They're getting 2 a month.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the Chamber of Commerce fundraiser.
Yeah, it sounds like a good one.
That's not bad. But there's over 2,800 stars on the Walk of Fame. My question is, would I even know who they are?
Right. I mean, if you got 2,800, it starts to become common.
Well, somebody tried to pry up the one for Donald Trump.
Yeah, they destroyed it. Didn't they remove it or something? And
they moved it.
They moved it or something. I didn't know if they put it in storage until it dies down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, people.
Well, if you go to Guam and Chinese, they changed the shoes out, the blocks with the shoes of whoever put their
and that's
footprints.
And that's one of the famous places right there on the Walk of Fame. But if it's 2,800, it's got to encompass blocks now. Blocks and blocks.
Well, that's half a mile. Just 1 square foot each. It's half a mile.
Well, when West Hollywood came out and said that they wouldn't allow such and such, Hollywood had to come out and say they have nothing to do with the Walk of Fame. And so the Magic Castle is right above if you go down.
Nobody cares about the Magic Castle.
Well, if you go down on
no, we don't care.
Anyway, that's where Houdini's is, right on that street.
I would probably go there. Out of the top 10 tourist traps in the world, the worst ones, the Dead Sea I don't know what people would expect if they go see the Dead Sea.
It's dead.
There's
There's probably not a lot of
it.
even houses around it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's between Israel and Jordan there. And then the Grand Bazaar, Istanbul, Turkey. I'm not.
You know, I've got a friend of mine who lived in Istanbul, and
Edward? Yeah.
And he tells great stories about when he was there.
Well, when he was in a Turkish prison?
No, he wasn't in a Turkish prison that I know of. But no, he had a pretty good time in Istanbul, and I've always wanted to go to there ever since I saw From Russia with Love.
I think you should. The other one was the Great Wall of China. Well, if you went to see the Great Wall of China, what's it? I mean, it's hundreds of miles long, isn't it?
It's a long ways, but there's some that's much more visual than others. My brother went to see it one time, and he said he had to run for his life from people who were trying to mug him.
Well, see, that might make it more interesting as a destination.
Yeah,
I can't remember who
not good, but
I can't remember who the premier of China was, whether it was Mao or somebody. But when I saw the wall in Berlin, his mention was it's a good wall, but it's not a great wall.
See, George, that's why we don't invite you in very often. It's stuff like that. No, we don't invite you in very often. I don't remember how old the Great Wall is. Hundreds of years old.
Oh yeah, I think it's certainly over 1,000. I believe,
and a lot of it's been out of repair.
Yeah,
and I just remember you remember the old Doonesbury, Ambassador Duke's gal Honey who worked for him, and she was the only one who could understand Mao at the end when he was really, really old. And so she goes, well, because I was the only one who could understand him, I'd get a phone call, he calls me up and says, the Great Wall is a sign of decadence and we need to get rid of it. And so I called him back and I said, I got 100,000 workers and they completely dismantled the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
And then he calls back and goes, well, maybe I was too quick on that one. And she goes, so I called back and I said, I had 300,000 workers replace it exactly the way it used to be. In reality, I spent my whole week watching TV, and the premier thought I was a genius. Yeah. Honey, in a lot of ways, you are.
The U.S. is sending more military assets to the Middle East.
Yeah,
Iran.
They can probably spare a few from Venezuela now.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we're done there, are we?
No,
there was
definitely not.
He canceled the second strike because he was cooperating allegedly with Rodriguez.
I call this modern gunboat tactics.
Yes.
Well, there's a saying in Washington D.C. The Chinese and the Russians now write a statement. We reposition an aircraft carrier.
They don't. Well, the Chinese have them. Russia has one that's been in dry dock for 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, it was out. They moved it to Syria a few years ago, but the problem was it had to be towed a good part of the way.
It's not ready for.
It has a lot of problems.
It's kind of like South Africa used to have 350 jets. Now they only have 3 that work.
And let's take a phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, Russ.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, listen, can we talk about the fuel shortage in Arizona?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Now, Katie Hobbs, as you got to be aware, is in cahoots with Newsom of California. Oh. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's the policy of the Democratic Party is to destroy this country.
Right.
And Katie Hobbs is actually like she's running around like she's surprised.
Well, yeah. Well, she wrote a letter to him and asked him not to pass that billionaire law because we'd lose so much. Yeah.
That's BS. That's just BS.
Okay. All right.
That's all that is. What I'm getting at is she raised delivery fee hikes over the past 18 months. And because of that, Arizona has lost 500 to 600 gas stations. But that is 1/4 of the state's fuel network. That's 1/4 of them. So that's a lot. Anyway, then she went on and she's taxing older fuel reserves. And they shut down another couple hundred gas stations.
That's
She's doing this. She's doing this deliberately. I know you want to defend the Democrats, but
no. You're just totally wrong again. But I'm curious. I haven't read that. I haven't seen it. So I definitely want to research that.
Yeah, just research it.
I will.
This is not going to be jumping out in front of you in the news media now. I have to hunt this stuff, Russ.
All right, I'll take a look at it because that's outrageous.
You think that this stuff just jumps out at me? It does not jump at me. I have to dig it, and then you're the one that questions it. Instead of you just go look it up and you go, "Damn, he's right again."
That happens occasionally, or a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
I appreciate you doing all the research for me. That's good.
Well, you're getting me messed up here now.
All right.
And you're doing this on purpose. I know you do. Because you're taking advantage of my 84 years old senility is what you're doing here.
Not intentionally, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think so. Anyway, what Arizona is into right now is we're suffering from a fuel debt spiral. And Katie Hobbs is the quarterback on this thing. She's a Democrat, Russ. They have a different platform than what Republicans do. They really do. You need to look up their platform. Yes, they do.
Oh, I agree.
But that's what they do. And they are the party of destruction and have been since Van Buren created them in 1847. They have a legislative paper trail. Don't let me go off rails here. I want to stay on the fuel thing if I could.
Go ahead.
All right. But anyway, well, I'll just have to finish this up. But you successfully derailed me off the fuel thing here. You got to understand, I'm 84 going on 85 years old, buddy.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to hang on and stay out of these damn rest homes the best I can.
I appreciate you.
Well, anyway, but elections have consequences, and what I want to point out to the people, you could have had Kerry Lake. When the Fed, you got a Mark Kelly that is interfering with the chain of command. That's actually a Democrat on a path of destruction, folks. Because our military, if it doesn't have a chain of command, we got nothing. We have turmoil. We have violence. We have a third world country if we don't have a civilian in charge of our military. And Kelly is trying to undermine that. And and he's an Arizona senator, and y'all voted for him.
I didn't, but he's an embarrassment. You're right.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's owned by the Chinese.
Think so?
Well, no, that's where he made his fortune.
Yes.
I mean, he was selling American space things to the Chinese. He was on the board of directors of the company that made the balloons, that balloon that went across the country. And that was one of his things. And I mean, they can get him for about 16 different ways.
Yeah, I hope they do.
And Hedgepath is going after him. He's gone through slowly but surely. Did the censure letter. He has to go through all the procedures on it, but I talked to him. He's gonna court martial him.
Oh, gee, where do you think we're going to end up on fuel? And I'm worried about it being.
Well, okay, California's going to end up with $12 fuel, and we're going to end up at $15 fuel.
I hope
that's
you're
what
wrong.
we're end up. Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, you got to open your eyes, Russ.
Oh, I've been talking about it for a while. We're in trouble.
Let me finish here. The only people that are piping us gasoline is Texas, and that comes to Phoenix. It doesn't come to Yuma.
Right.
We get nothing. So you're going to get $15 of fuel in Yuma. In the outer perimeters of Phoenix, you're going to get it. The only one that's going to get top-notch gasoline, if you want to call it that, supplies, is going to be the pipeline coming from El Paso. That's all that's coming here.
Right, because we get ours out of California for sure. I lose you? Oh, lost.
Okay, when they close the Dow, it starts. What's the name of the Vanguard or whatever refinery? Valero. When they close that, and they're trying to change that because they all of a sudden realize that that's going to.
You can't.
90% of Nevada's fuel comes from California. We get 60% of ours from California. And but the biggest thing is I mean, I put enough gas to get to Yuma because I know that you hit El Centro, it's 575.
Yeah, it's 299 here.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
see it
that
was
big.
287.
287.
Yeah. And,
Actually,
but-
77. I filled up Wednesday.
But I paid $225 in Dallas the other day.
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw it as low as
And that's-
209 in Dallas about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I wasn't even going to Costco, so.
And OG's right to be alarmed because with everything shutting down in California, we're going to be affected. I don't think it's going to be like $15 an hour.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there'll be a lot of incentive for more gas to come, more fuel to come from Texas. A lot of
Right.
incentive. So
Well,
There's got
how
to be
much-
capacity. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
we
capacity.
haven't built a refinery since the 70s, and it's time that we start building.
In the
well, look
Arizona.
at how it got. We had this proposal for decades now to build one in Tacna. It's a great place to build it.
perfectly.
You can't get a better place for that using Mexican oil. And we had, I think, all the permission that could go for it, but it was shot down for environmental nonsense.
That
Well,
may, it's not over.
And
It may
that,
come
but
back.
one of the things they did the other day with it was absolutely brilliant was to drop the EPA had come up with these stupid car rules.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And
the
so
mileage cap.
Well, you got to remember that's why we have SUVs, the minivans, was because of the fact that the new rules made it to where you couldn't build a station wagon anymore and
Right.
still be underneath the
They're considered
thing.
trucks.
So
Exactly,
no, but
yeah.
SUVs were light trucks,
Right, they're
Yeah.
trucks.
and so
Exactly.
they were. That was the
That's the go around.
and Iacocca did two things. He goes, well, you still need to be able to put 10 kids into a car. And so, the minivan was born. And then the other thing is that he went out and asked everybody what they wanted. And the two things that he got the most things was, can we have an American made convertible again? And they came up with the convertible for Chrysler.
I think it was the
And then,
insurance.
and
outlaw.
the second one was we want cup holders.
Well, certainly with
Not great of. But
with
the
insurance, the convertibles didn't have the protective cage.
Right.
Now they do.
But I mean, the last convertible before that was a 1976 Cadillac.
Colorado. That's right.
Yeah. Steve
Yeah.
Stanford's dad had one,
A lot
and it
of
was
people-
red, white, and blue.
A lot of
It
people
a
thought that was
great car.
collectible, saying this is the last convertible ever. And then they went and ruined it by making more convertibles.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe these
when I lived
last ever.
When I lived in
Promise.
San Diego, I had a Chevy convertible, I had a Chrysler convertible, and I had a BMW convertible. But I never had a car that wasn't a convertible when I lived in San Diego.
I had a request from a listener that, and I don't always fulfill requests, but and maybe not this one, but it says, "Stop being mean to George. I like his stories." With that, I'll be right back.
That's your fan base here in Yuma, George.
I didn't know you had
Probably Edison.
Sunny skies today with a high of 80, clear and 54 tonight. 80 and sunny on Saturday, 50 and clear Saturday night. Partly cloudy and 80 on Sunday.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the cost of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard, industry-leading quality and trend-setting design to protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also the home of Expert Spray and Bed Liners, spraying mil-spec protected coatings, committed to unwavering excellence and unparalleled customer service. Expert Liners, with available national warranty coverage and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. Truckmates is also the home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road trucks and Jeep enthusiasts. And don't forget 3M window tinting, the originators of window tinting with nationwide lifetime warranty at Truckmates. That's Expert Spray and Bed Liners, BDS suspensions, 3M window tinting, and Snug Top, all at Truckmates, 32nd Street, next to Lowe's.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560. You, Russ Cark with you, and Dean and George are back with me.
Glad to be here too.
I got a note from Edward I want to talk about just for a second.
Go.
Because you said something like that. I think it was a reference to something you said. It says Republicans sound as if they're wearing tinfoil on their heads when they say Democrats want to destroy the country. I've been guilty of that.
That was OG.
Was it OG?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been guilty of it at times, probably. But because they do not want to destroy the nation, they are seeking to fundamentally alter the American culture to focus more on a global identity rather than an individualized. I agree with that too.
Yeah, it's the Cloward Piven strategy.
Yeah.
It is easier to control a populace when they are struggling. Again, it's not to destroy, but alter, as no one wants to roll over ashes. Now, see, but I would interpret that if they did that, it's destroying it to me, I guess. But I understand it's saying
the mayor of New York actually came out and said, the government, we're going to go from rugged individualism to collectivism, and the idea that we're going to have that the government can take care of all of things for us, and as opposed to Ronald Reagan's line, which is the worst, words in the thing is, we're from the government and we're here to help.
Yeah, the scariest words.
Yeah. And so the thing is that Scott Jennings said it best. He goes, well, now that he's the head of the mayor of New York is the head of the Democratic Party, and everybody on the CNN thinks that, no, he's not the head.
Yeah, but he
goes, well, who is? He goes, is it AOC? Is it Crockett or whatever her name is?
Not Schumer anymore.
And,
I think it's been Donnie.
I mean, the Schumer shutdown ended him. He can't win a primary. He's going to lose to AOC in the primary.
He was ended.
That will be very interesting.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Can you see Senator AOC? I can see it. It'll be entertaining.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean,
you're not going to see Senator Crockett. I know she's running for the
Senate. She can't be.
Not in Texas.
Not in Texas. But she's going to gain a lot of funds.
Sure.
She'll get a lot of donations. She'll make a lot of money out of this.
Yeah, well,
she's not going away.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of funny. Fannie, what's her name, got hit with a thing to give all the money back that she got for her. She had a
Fannie, who I don't know who you're talking about.
Down in Georgia.
You're talking about the prosecutor.
Yeah, and she
Atlanta.
She had an NGO that had $100 in the account, and they gave her like $1 billion.
Yeah, that was a heck of a deal.
And they clawed it back the other day, and
including a lot of it back. I don't know if they got all of it.
Well, yeah, but they basically put a lien on our houses, and
But that wasn't Fannie.
No,
that was Donna Brazil, was it, or no?
Stacey
Abrams.
Stacey Abrams. Yeah. Well, Fannie's in trouble too. She's, I think they're just barring her.
They're dodging the bullet so far, but it's going to happen.
Well, the biggest thing that came out of when they disbarred what's his name, Giuliani, and they tried to disbar Sidney, what's her name down there? Sidney Powell, and they tried to disbar a number of California attorneys that worked for Trump.
Right.
And then when we came back around and started going after the law firms that helped Biden, and covered up the stuff and everything else. The California bar was the first one to come out and said you can't do that to these law firms, and all of us were saying, wait a minute, you just
demonstrated the path
the other way around just a minute ago. And that's where a lot of lawyers say it's time to go to a voluntary bar, because the bars have now become political in nature. I mean, and they'll go after you for if you're not politically correct. And somebody had this line the other day, which is if you want authoritarianism, look at the left, because if you don't walk in lockstep, they will cancel you.
They don't see it though, because they're in that bubble.
Well, not just that, but they believe that they're completely moral and everything else.
Sure.
And if you don't believe, yeah,
that's exactly it. And that's where this whole authoritarian devolves into totalitarian in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, the same people that are telling us that, the idea that we were told that we couldn't go to the beach, we couldn't go to we were mandated to get a shot that was completely experimental against Nuremberg.
Couldn't go to churches, but the strip clubs were open.
Exactly. Because the government knows best.
Yeah, they know what's good.
Yeah, the liquor stores were open. You couldn't go to church, but you could go to the casinos.
Yeah,
I think that did a lot to destroy trust in our institutions.
Well, the biggest thing is that I don't trust doctors at all anymore.
You don't at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I go, so when they say, well, you need to take this, and I go, how much do you get in incentives from the big pharma to tell me to take this drug?
Well, like anything, you have to learn which sources you trust.
That's right.
And and so my biggest thing was, and I'll flat out admit it, there was a lot of lawyers that were falsifying
don't give me names,
documents and stuff like that during COVID, so that people could get on planes and stuff. And it was really funny because I had at one time I had to go to Los Angeles, and I said, well, I got to travel. What am I going to do? And my doctor, who was getting my blood because I had the antibodies, said, oh, we'll just write up one for you, and we'll put it into the computer. You don't have to take the drug. We'll just
you've got the antibodies.
And he goes, but if we give you the shot, then we can't use you as a donor anymore.
So you're
and I just said, and I said, so you're going to do that? He goes, rather than lose a donor with antibodies, we'll falsify everything.
Oh, don't give us the names. I thought your doctor was Nisha Verma.
No.
You don't know who that is?
No idea.
She's an OBGYN, but she's the one that got into it with Josh Hawley. Hearing. She's an idiot.
She's the one who would refuse to say what the definition of a woman was. How can you tell a woman?
But it went.
Can a man get pregnant? She was asked.
It went on and on because Hawley wasn't going to. He was going to keep asking.
Yeah, he kept asking her, and she wouldn't answer
because he said, "Look, you said you're all about science. Scientifically, you want to look at where the science goes." So is
it possible for a man to become pregnant?
Right.
I think that was the question.
That was one of them, and she said, well, I hesitate to answer that because it's a political question.
Yeah.
He said, no, it's a biological question.
I like the better. It's a psychological question. Because if you blow out their premise at the very beginning, when they go, well, transgender, and the ACLU says they don't even have a definition for transgender, and they go, okay, what's a man, what's a boy, what's a woman, what's a girl?
Yeah.
We need to have these definitions. Alito said
we never used to,
and if you're going to say that you're discriminating against somebody, we got to go through this.
Yeah, the problem is that if somebody thinks that they are a different sex than what their body says, they have a mental problem.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was that way for years.
Well, and the thing is that when you say affirming care, we now have the WPATH internal documents. We have the internal Zoom calls because of the discovery and when they sued Atlanta over this. Atlanta,
Wow,
Georgia. On
is
their
this
own.
where we had the person up in high up in the administration squelched scientific articles saying there was a problem with all this transgender quote affirmation?
No, but they changed they said that in Georgia that you can't have uh, affirming care.
Yeah.
And they passed that law. And then what happened was that when the ACLU and GLAAD sued, they all of a sudden opened up for discovery. And
Yeah.
so that's when we found out that the American Psychiatric Association, the American Pediatric Association, and the American Endocrine Association were all dependent on WPATH's underlying research. And they said, well, they're the experts, and they told us that this is right. And then now they see when they opened up all the stuff, they saw that it was all fake data,
bogus, yeah,
and it was all completely bogus. And so, and that mainly, there's actually a thing where they had the surgeons on and go, well, we're trying to do this when we do the male to female, and it's not working. 85% problems with the surgery.
Well, I think Nisha Burma is doing us a favor by making it so outrageous. In fact, I got a call from a local doctor who wants to come on the air Tuesday to talk about how embarrassed he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of this person in DC refusing to answer
Dr.
questions.
Joe, I haven't had him on in months, and he says, man, I'm coming back on if you've got room for him. I go, absolutely got room. We'll talk about it. Because I'd be curious what they're teaching in, school now. Internships, and, do they go through all this? I would imagine they do.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if medical schools have gone woke and are now regretting it.
Well, and the thing is that just like people are now getting onto a plane, and the first thing they do is look to see what the crew's like. And
because they don't want somebody who got selected to be pilot.
A DEI.
DEI. Well, no, I was getting on a plane the other day, and the guy looked in, and it was an all-female crew, and he turned around and walked back to the gate and said, "I'll take the next flight."
I did fly in an all-female crew aircraft once to Colorado, and we know it's all-female because they bragged about it and they wanted to announce how wonderful it is that we have an all-female crew. Now, I was doing a lot of flying at the time.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when we left, we were taxiing needlessly around Yuma. I didn't understand it, but anyway, I didn't make a big deal. But then it didn't seem like they were following the flight path that you normally would go to Phoenix or, go to Colorado and all that. But when we got there, they couldn't land the plane. We had to do a go-around because they were coming in. In fact, I was in the seat telling my wife at the time, we're coming in a little hot and low. I don't think this thing's going to stop. They did a go-around.
Wow.
And then all the passengers around me, because I speak loud, they got a little worried, and they're asking me stuff,
Well, no,
I said, well, I don't fly jets. I mean, I'm a small pilot, but that was a lot. We finally did it, and they had another, still too low, still too hot. They never announced why they're doing the go-around.
Well, that's pretty standard.
Well, they usually will tell you to keep you calm and say, look, we have to circle around. We'll be right. We're going to land.
Yeah,
They didn't do
I have
that.
a story about that, but I don't think you want to hear
But anyway, they finally, it was a landing where they were smoking the tires to get that plane stopped. And when you get off a plane, the pilot's there and you shake their hand and you say, hey, thanks for flying to America or whatever it is.
Sure.
They all disappeared. Every flight attendant and there was nobody.
Nobody was bragging. It was an all-female crew anymore.
It was so weird.
Well, that the whole plane went into almost panic the other day that they were on because of the fact that okay, it's just a little rough here, but the pilots say everything's fine. You know what happens when a woman says that everything's fine? For God's sakes, we're going to die.
Maybe that's why it could be a female pilot saying it. Yeah.
Well, no,
they're not going to believe it.
Well, the Delta that crashed in Canada the other day, she was on a training mission, and the guy who was training her hadn't been on a training thing in a long time, and she came in way too hot, and that's what happened. and took out. You remember that crash the other day?
Yeah.
And so, when you get on Delta now, they announce that, and I look in and give me an older pilot, go through the whole thing.
I want Sullenberg up there.
Yeah.
He's
I
certainly
want a guy
was capable.
I want a guy with a little white hair. Heck, I'll even take Denzel Washington from that movie where he was playing a
George.
pilot.
He's an actor. I'd get off the plane. Leave. We start talking about military assets in the Middle East. We sent the USS Abraham Lincoln there, and there's two more that just left port in San Diego, and no understanding what their destination is.
Yeah, I was going to say San Diego's not the easiest place to reach Europe from.
No, but who knows where they're going?
Yeah,
at this point.
Suez, maybe, I don't know.
I have no idea.
The Abraham Lincoln has a very storied past.
Oh no, I'm sorry. One was from Norfolk, one was from San Diego.
Okay, yeah. Well, Norfolk would be pretty direct.
That'd be the Bush or the Reagan coming out of there.
No, it says they're not deployed. Okay, I guess it just listed them. They're not deployed. They don't know where they're going.
What is it? The aircraft carrier, the
Ford? It's in Southcom area. It lists. What do we have? Like 12, 13? Aircraft carriers?
Constellation.
Oh gosh, you can't name them, but we've got more than anybody.
Yeah, I think 12 or 13. I think that's about right.
We got another one coming off the thing pretty soon.
What is it? The Trump?
It would be an appropriate name for an aircraft carrier.
I don't think that'll happen for a while. They can't do that to a living president, can they?
Well, it hasn't been the precedent that we have had, but under Trump, who knows? I mean, he breaks a lot of molds.
It has gotten rid of some bad shows that were going to be at Kennedy Center, though. I mean, that the opera hasn't made money in 20-something years, and so mainly because they'll put these alternative operas on, not the ones that everybody wants to see.
Well, and that's why Trump went in there and took over.
Mainly the place is Misty, a friend of mine. She works there. Met her at the Waldorf Astoria, and she said when she first came in, half the carpet in her office was wet because of the leaks that were going on.
Yeah.
And so they moved her from one office to another. And originally, she was told not to tell when she saw something like that.
Of course, she told you.
And but when Trump came in, the first thing he did was send out a memo that said, "If you see something that needs to be fixed, let me know."
He replaced the whole board at the Kennedy Trump Center. But I like the F-47. They named the F-47 because he's the 47th president.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they specifically assigned it a 47.
Interesting,
because he's 47th.
And when Trump refurbished the Kennedy Center, did he do that with private money or government money?
I have no idea. I imagine government money.
I thought it was private, but I wasn't sure.
But the thing was that you got to remember what used to be done was, especially with the COVID money, they gave an incredible amount of money to the Kennedy Center, who then gave money to the Democratic Party.
Exactly. Yeah. Passenger system.
Yeah, so they put a stop to that. Who knows what's going to be in the future?
Oh, the newest aircraft carrier is the Gerald R. Ford CVN-78.
Yeah, but they're building one right now that's not left dock yet.
It's now deployed.
Well, the Ford's deployed, yeah, but there's another one behind it. There is another one that's under construction.
Yeah, a lot of people are questioning whether we should be building aircraft carriers because they're saying it's the last war,
The newest one for China is the Fujian Type 003. It's their third carrier.
What do you believe that about building new aircraft?
I don't know.
I think
I'm not willing to say. I think that we're going to have a lot more drones, unmanned aircraft. We can fly off an aircraft carrier as well as a piloted one.
It takes a carrier to get it all there.
So
it does so much more than just carry airplanes.
That's right. And no matter
here it is. The newest one that's coming in is the USS, you're not going to believe this, William J. Clinton is the next aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
well, whatever. Not my choice.
No.
Yeah, well,
I knew, and that's not ready to leave dry dock. I mean, is it out of dry dock? Is it?
No, it's not done yet.
It's not done.
But it was
But aircraft carriers
it was
project
funny.
power, so that's a useful thing.
Bill Maher said this on the other day, was the little room that Clinton would take Monica Lewinsky into is now where they sell the hats and everything else in the White House.
It's right off the Oval Office, as I recall.
So that's now where all the mercantile.
My understanding is that Clinton is going to have more nuclear electrical power, like double or triple of what the Ford was, because they're expecting energy weapons or railgun weapons, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, both lasers and rail guns take a lot of electricity.
They don't really know what they're going to do with it all yet, but they know they're going to need it.
But they have to build one of these carriers around the nuclear power plant, essentially.
Right. But one of the cool things is, you remember when we had the tsunami in Indonesia?
Yeah,
several years ago. One of the things is the first thing that the president sent was an aircraft carrier.
Sure.
And the reason why is because when they hook up, the thing has the ability to make water. Fresh water.
It has a hospital on board.
It has a hospital on board, and it can it has enough electricity to light up that area.
You just need a real heavy cable.
Yeah, you got to hook into the grid somehow. But they
do have the ability to do that, and so.
George, let me ask you a technology question. Now that we're looking at nuclear fusion plants in the next few years, there's several pilot programs over $1 billion each to build a pilot plant producing nuclear fusion. When will we have nuclear fusion aircraft carriers?
Yeah, well, that would be the next.
It's a denser power source.
It's kind of interesting. I had a maid finally get to my apartment the other day, and she found cold fusion in my refrigerator.
Yeah, well, that'd be a dream.
I mean, it's like
But we've got the Trump.
I don't buy limes. Well, that was a head of lettuce at one time.
Truth Social combined with what's that energy company, and they're supposed to have a pilot. They're supposed to be searching for a 5-acre site for a 50 megawatt power plant to go onto the grid as a pilot project. And there's about 4 other companies that have put over $1 billion of private money into.
Well, if we don't start catching up to the Chinese as far as energy goes, I mean, they're building a coal plant every week. They're building a nuclear plant every month.
No.
And yeah, that's fast. And we are way behind on that. And
absolutely. Look what they've done to Europe.
Now, France was brilliant. They didn't get rid of their nuclear plants.
No, they sell the energy to Germany.
Well, Germany got rid of their nuclear plants.
Yes, it's insane.
And because of the fact that Merkel was an idiot on that whole thing. And now coal trains have priority over passenger trains.
Well, they destroyed some of their coal plants too in Germany.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. And so their energy costs have gone out of sight, and they can't compete. Their industry can't compete economically because their energy costs are so high.
And so
it's a brilliant move by the Chinese.
So all the people that they brought in from third world nations who are now saying that, well, we're going to take over Germany and turn it into a caliphate. I mean, the best thing that could ever happen for the Christian and the Jewish world is when Iran falls.
Because
that will be the first nail of the crusade starting.
That's still a what if, isn't it? You think it is?
Well, I mean, but after 750 years, I've been a Knight Templar. I'm a Knight Columbus. I'm a Knight of Malta.
There's a fantastic.
And I'm a Knight of Templar. And after 750 years, Cardinal Leo welcomed the Knights Templar back into the Vatican.
There's a fantastic book out there on the Templars and the Hospitallars, and it's called The Two Swords of Christ. I'm about halfway through it. Brilliant book where he covers the history of them from when they were formed up until about 1700, I think. And I'm only halfway through it, but it's absolutely fascinating how effective those military monkish orders were. They did take oaths of poverty and chastity.
Well, that's the original symbol for the Knights Templar is 2 guys on a horse.
Yeah, because they only had 1 horse.
Yeah, and you had to be a knight before you joined the Knights Templar.
I don't I think you're pretty much right because the actual nights were a relatively small number. I think 300 was a pretty high number for them, but they had a lot of auxiliaries
Yeah.
underneath them.
But the Temple Mount was their headquarters.
Yes, right.
And the thing was is that for that Fortune that was an American Fortune or whatever, the movie with Nicolas Cage and Harvey Keitel played Mason.
Didn't see it.
Oh, it's a great movie. But where they steal the Declaration of Independence because of the fact that written on the back of it was
Oh, maybe I did see this.
It's a treasure hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunt.
American
thing.
Treasure. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But the thing was is that Fortune that the Knights Templar had the scene in the Star Wars movie where the Jedi Knights are all killed. That was taken from Friday the 13th, October 14, whatever.
When they went after the
Yeah,
Knights.
yeah, and that's why Friday the 13th is bad luck. That's when they
Yeah, this was in the late early
Pope
1700s or so.
Pope Clarence and the King of France
Yeah, but
conspired together.
what year?
Yeah, it was like 1400 or 1300,
That was later, maybe
1600. I don't know.
16 or 17. I was thinking because that's when they were basically destroyed. But it's about the time the Muslim power was getting plateauing.
The Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
I looked up real quick the Chinese nuclear power. They only have 59 reactors operational, which makes them the third largest in the world. And U.S. is number one, then France. And
Japan has a lot.
I don't know what their ranking is.
Of course, they're much smaller than the
But
U.S.
but China is more aggressively got 37 under construction.
Right. Now, President Trump has started initiatives to greatly increase the number of commercial nuclear reactors in the U.S. And as I said, his, well, not his, but Truth Social has partnered with a energy company to build a pilot fusion plant, not fission, but
Right.
fusion. And fusion has a lot less problems. It can be built in smaller plants. It doesn't produce radioactive waste. It's impossible to get a meltdown.
But
It's hard to
is
keep
there
it
actually
actually-
a commercially operated one at this point?
Not yet,
Okay, I didn't think so.
but we have like at least 4 or 5 companies that put $1 billion in that are each and more looking at building pilot plants before the middle of the 2030s. So they're getting a lot more serious. There's even a company that's looking at how small a nuclear fusion plant they can get. And they're talking they can get one, at least they're trying to get one that will fit like inside a desk.
Wow.
And that could be used for aircraft, for boats, maybe even trucks, maybe even a car.
China hopes to reach 10% of its electricity being nuclear by 2030 to 2040. So they still have a ways to go.
Yeah, we have more than 10%.
Yeah, I think it's 20, isn't it? 20 on nuclear.
Something
I'd
like
have to
that.
double check
15,
that.
20
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
And we'd like to get a lot more. It's relatively clean energy. You don't have to worry. It doesn't produce any carbon if
And
you're worried about that.
They did complete one in Georgia just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I heard that
plant.
we are starting the first time in a long time that
Yeah.
we've had a nuclear plant in the U.S.
Yeah.
So we're moving on that
Okay.
front, and we should be.
Okay, real quick.
Oh,
It
I
was
got
Pope Clement V, and
We'll have to get back to that next hour. I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the cost of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
It was a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's President Trump's reaction on social to Maria Corina Machado gifting him the Nobel Peace Prize she was awarded last year for her push for democracy in Venezuela that got her persecuted.
I'm very honored, I'm very grateful for the opportunity I had to speak with President Trump.
That's Machado after the White House meeting, telling Fox's Rachel Campos-Tuppy.
In spite of the Nobel Prize Committee saying that you couldn't transfer your Nobel Prize to anyone, especially President Trump, you did today. Why did you do that? Because he deserves it. And it was a very emotional moment.
Machado also tells Fox she believes one day she'll be elected president of Venezuela. While Machado was at the White House, CIA Director John Ratcliffe was in Caracas meeting with Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, who President Trump has praised and prefers in charge of the country now instead of Machado. A U.S. aircraft carrier is headed to the Middle East after the president threatened to take action against Iran's deadly crackdown on protests.
The AP says several of America's Middle East allies have urged the Trump administration to hold off striking Iran over the crackdown on protesters. The news agency cites an unnamed Arab diplomat in reporting that top officials from Egypt, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar made representations against an attack.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The anti-ICE protests raged in Minneapolis. Clashes again with federal officers last night following two recent immigration enforcement-related shootings as the FBI tries to recover stolen body armor and weaponry taken from the protests Wednesday.
Government vehicles broken into, one graffitied with "Hang Christy Dome," ICE, and "Only Good Agent" is a dead one. Protests after a shooting involving an ICE officer. There's a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the recovery of stolen government property and/or the arrest of those responsible.
Fox's Chris Foster Wallace, gang members in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63, out of nowhere. Stroke. Hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, my wife, for kids. The best place to get life insurance, ethos.com. Because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medicine, no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes, your family protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Hey, folks, many of us grew up on these high sugar cereals, Frosty Flakes, even Raisin Bran. You need to make the healthier switch to Grainberry, created by my dear friend Peter Harris and his father. It is lower in sugar. It's made with natural fiber, antioxidants, whole grain, onyx sorghum, and that helps slow sugar absorption. Now, the taste will win you over, and you can pick up Grainberry Bran Flakes or any of their other great flavors. Make the switch. Grainberry, the official cereal of Sean Hannity.
From the News 11 Information Desk, I'm Julia Aguilera. Trump's new plan is on lowering drug prices and reducing health insurance premiums. The proposal has offered subsidies for the Affordable Care Act expired at the end of last year. However, those opposed to the plan say premium paid by consumers have more than doubled this year without the subsidies, making it harder and more expensive for working families to make a living. The open enrollment period for families ends this month. Thousands of people will be into Wilson for the 17th annual tractor rodeo. On display will be new and vintage tractors and engines. The event will also feature a tractor pull, tons of food vendors, and live entertainment. Admission is $5 and sales will benefit the local 4-H Foundation. The rodeo is on East County 12th Street near Coyote Wash Golf Course in Wilton. It takes place this Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Catch us on TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your local news, weather, and sports.
Hey, I'm 560 KBLU. Russ Cark with you, and Dean's back with me.
Glad to be here, too.
George is here.
Hey.
7 o'clock. Greenland. I guess you know Trump wants Greenland.
Well, you know,
strategically.
I really want somebody to get the books on Iceland. If you've ever been to Reykjavik,
I don't care about Iceland.
I mean, Iceland is, these
Greenland.
they were named after the Vikings. Named these things. They found a big rock covered with ice. The Vikings named it Greenland. They found a great spa in the middle of nowhere with hot springs, and they called it Iceland.
So Greenland is in play, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
So far, the Danes are playing kind of hard to get. We'll see.
This is an easy way to do this. Princess Isabella of Denmark is the same age as Baron Trump. So we marry him off, and in the old style, and then we ask for a dowry of Greenland.
That hasn't.
I mean, it works. Come on, guys.
That hasn't been suggested yet. But Trump's not letting go of this. So much he's irritated our NATO allies, and France announced.
Oh, so are they going to pay their bills?
France announced that they're going to
send
troops. They sent troops, and they did.
Yeah. Okay.
13.
Yeah.
13.
That's almost as much as Trump's 2 dog sleds.
Yeah, but look, Germany, Sweden, Norway, United Kingdom, Netherlands, and Finland all sent troops. Now they have a total of 39.
Yeah,
well, it's kind of like
to protect Greenland.
They said they were going to send 20 Brazilian troops, and they go, "How many's in a Brazilian?"
Thanks, George.
So, I think the way to do this is to convince the people in Greenland to vote that they want to become part of the U.S.
I'm not sure they do, from the anecdotal stuff I've seen
maybe
on TV.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Well, Quebec is ready to leave.
Yeah, but they don't want to become part of the U.S.
They want to be part of Greenland, maybe send them to Greenland.
I could see Alberta.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to happen to Greenland. But there's this fear that if they don't do something, China or Russia is going to move in there.
Yes, exactly.
Can he really justify that? I mean, has there been...
Both China and Russia have upped the ante in how much shipping they're trying to put through the Arctic.
Without question.
No question. So the Arctic has a lot of potential resources there. A lot of it. A lot of oil, a lot of minerals.
And Greenland expands quite a bit above Canada.
As a strategic partner, we saw how great Russia and China are in Venezuela. I mean, as soon as they, as soon as we start rattling sabers, they go, "Well, hey, thanks. We'll see you after lunch."
But they, I don't know if it's imminent that something. I mean, Greenland's been with Denmark since the 1700s, and nobody cared. They got a population of I've heard 50,000. I've heard 80,000.
Well, we've attempted to acquire Greenland at least 3 times.
Yeah.
One was right after the Civil War, about 1868. And then I think the next was, I'm not sure if it was during Wilson or during the First World War. And then there was one after World War II. So we've attempted to acquire it. We wanted to get it. But, the Danes we never could come to an agreement on it.
Well, we bought stuff before. We bought Alaska.
But the Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands were the latest. I think it's
Guam.
1912
the Gadsden Purchase, where we are here now.
Exactly.
Louisiana Purchase. I want to go back to that.
Well,
that's right.
That was really funny. What judge here in Judge Nelson.
Yeah.
I had a case in 2011 when he went to Judge Stanley, and he says, "I need a Politico who understands, the whole thing on the purchases, because of the fact that we had a city councilman or gal down in San Luis who couldn't speak English. She'd gone to Copa High, but she'd lost her English over the years, and she ran for city council in San Luis. And the thing is that pursuant to the law, you have to have a working ability to speak and write English in order to be an elected official in the United States. And they said, well, that's racist and you're not right to do this. But it actually came from, because we were under the Gadsden Purchase, this whole area.
Yeah.
But they based it on the Louisiana Purchase because they didn't want French to be the language there. and so you had to speak English. And so when we showed where the law came from, uh, it, it negated her ability to be city council.
The Edward sent me a notice on the actual population. According to October 1st, 2025, Greenland's population was 56,699, according to statistics from Greenland's quarterly population release. Pretty small, half the size of Yuma.
Heck, a quarter the size during the winter.
Yeah, imagine. And this place is immense. I don't know what the size is as a comparison to Texas, but what?
About twice the size of Texas, as I recall.
Yeah, and they've got 56,000 people. You couldn't find them if you spread them out. It would be.
It's bigger than Alaska.
Yeah.
What can you hunt down there? Is there
polar bears?
Is there moose?
You can hunt frostbite.
No, polar bears aren't
oh yeah, they're
there.
They harvest a fair number of them in Greenland. In fact, the Sirius, as in Sirius, as a star, the Sirius Dog Sled Patrol is Danish, and they patrol the coastline of Greenland, and they carry 10mm Glocks against polar bears.
The ice pack's like a mile thick in Greece.
Especially in the center. But they go more around the edges, I'm pretty sure. And they were a significant engagement in Greenland in World War II. That's when they formed this sled patrol, and they basically drove out a German weather station that was there. And then they called Americans in, and Americans came in and bombed it, but they didn't have much effect. They were already leaving.
What's that thing about bears? Okay, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night.
Well, they say that, but it's kind of incorrect. Brown bears are the deadliest. Polar bears are probably the second, and then black bears, you definitely fight. So you're best off with all of them. If they're threatening you, just shoot them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that. My dad was stationed in Greenland in Thule. There's still an Air Force base there.
They don't call it Thule anymore.
What do they call it?
Oh, it's some Greenland Eskimo name, Nununawaka or something like that.
Do you know the history of Camp Victory?
Doesn't ring a bell, right?
It was inland from Thule, but it was a nuclear reactor that powered it, and they did that during the Cold War to set up operations. They did it under ice, then just to conceal. There's some great documentaries out there.
Sure, that makes sense.
On that base, on what they did to put nuclear power in there. Gosh, that was back in the 60s or
Thule,
late 50s.
I think was spelled Thule.
Yeah, but Thule was where they made the excursion from Thule to Camp Victory, and these big tractors they had to pull it out. We're going like 2 miles an hour, and it was like a 7-8 day journey, or more to get there.
I started reading that because of my bear research, and it's some fascinating stuff about Greenland and how important it was at various times. Strategically during World War II, it was fairly important. One of the big reasons is because we wanted weather data from there so that we would be able to forecast better, particularly the weather for D-Day, and it turned out to be critical. There was a very famous English weather forecaster who predicted a little bit of a lull in the weather. The Germans didn't catch it because they didn't have the weather stations anymore. And and so we were able to pull off the D-Day invasion in part because we had better weather data.
Well, now we want it for, I think, the same thing that they built Camp Victory for, and that is the threat of nuclear missiles. Coming
it's a big warning station, and it's it's a place where aircraft can take off. It's got a big airfield there. So it's an
more than a
important
warning
spot.
station. I mean, wouldn't it be a great interception?
Absolutely.
If we were going to intercept something, it would be much nicer to get it further north.
I'm sure that's part of what they do. It's way north on Greenland. It's way far north. It's almost
NORAD.
Yeah, it was part of NORAD.
Yeah,
but NORAD has pretty much been dismantled. I mean, literally destroyed a lot of the NORAD stations up in the far north of Alaska.
Who destroyed them?
We did. U.S. government.
Wow.
I have it was let's see, would it be a cousin-in-law of mine? Married one of my cousins, and he was up there and he worked on it. That's what they did. They went out and took down and destroyed all presence of man on these
Why?
remote stations. The natives, the Eskimo tribes come in, please don't destroy this.
Yeah.
We use it, it's where we tie up our sleds. We can see it. It's a landmark. You know, there's nothing else up here. We want it. And they go in and blow them up.
Well, I always liked that was one of my favorite scenes in War Games with Matthew Broderick, where the general is chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is sitting there calling all the outside things and going, "We've got a launch thing. We think it's fake, so stay on the radio and tell us whether or not you're still there." It's like, and then they all of a sudden they're supposed to be hit by nuclear missiles, and they go, "We're still here." So
I got a question for you on the weather stations. Do you think they destroyed it because of climate change? It wasn't proving.
I would
wasn't
say
giving us the right answers.
It didn't fit the narrative.
Which weather stations are you talking?
You're talking about the ones you.
This is in World War. Well, no, NORAD. Certainly, they had weather data too. You naturally collect it wherever you got somebody in a remote place like that. But no, they destroyed it because of this anti-human animus. It's made by man. It's bad. We have to get rid of it.
And how long ago was that?
Well, I don't know. Talking about 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, it was after it could have been related.
Well,
Inconvenient Truth came out 20 years ago.
Well, and it was completely debunked within the last 20 years.
I got
absolutely.
I got a whole article on it now, because it's a 20 years, and this article goes through the promises made, not kept by Al Gore.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Well, I was born in 1961, and I've been told ever since I was a little kid that the world was going to end because we're going to run out of oil by the time the 80s showed up. Yeah. Food, population.
Zero population growth. Yeah,
its population would be too many people. And now we don't.
That always struck me as odd. The same activist who said we shouldn't have any kids say we have to import lots of foreigners.
Yeah, because we don't have enough kids. Edward measured Greenland for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's the size roughly of 3 Texases.
You know how much
5 Californias.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how much Carrie loves hearing this kind of stuff.
She does listen occasionally because I know she texts me to tell me to tell Edward things.
Well, maybe we could get Edward to buy Greenland for us.
I don't know if it's a big enough project for him.
No, I don't think so.
It may not meet his criteria.
I mean, you just need a majority vote of the people who live there. So you need 27,500 people to vote yes. What's it cost?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what was that? Ocean's 12, where they're trying to figure out, well, how much do they need is a raise down in Mexico at this place that was making the dice? And
You watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, but it was really funny because they go, okay, that was that $2 million we need right now. And they go, no, 27,000. It goes per person. No, total.
Some of the things Al Gore predicted, with great assurance and drama. Mount Kilimanjaro would be free of ice.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
Well, that was, and he showed pictures in the 2000s where there was much less snow. He did this in 2006 was Inconvenient Truth.
I took the pictures in summertime.
And he specifically says within this decade, there will be no more snow on Kilimanjaro. That one's easy to say wrong. I mean, right now it's grown actually a little bit. It's better. Another one that was woefully wrong after the Kilimanjaro. In fact, it's increased by 1.2 meters in Kilimanjaro. Glacier National Park. That's where is Montana?
Yeah, it's northern Montana. They have a lot of bears there. About as many as
I
around
didn't see Inconvenient Truth. I refused to watch it, but he apparently gives a great story of him with his daughter in 1998. You know how much they loved it and all that. But he predicted that it'd be gone in 15 years.
Too bad.
It's still there.
Yes.
I mean, the glaciers are still there and all that. Number 3 mentioned Argentina and Peru, countries where glaciers were dangerous of disappearing, and that they would be gone. No, in fact, it's still growing. Something about
no, but they had a thing on this the other day. I can't remember the investor, and he said flat out, he goes, "We wouldn't be building. You couldn't get a 30-year mortgage, in Florida if any of this was true." you know, and these guys, and he goes, I've never seen in a prospectus a thing for climate change. It's just not there because there's no, and these guys, don't do anything without a plan. And so, because it's their money.
Well, the ocean level has been increasing steadily for hundreds of years.
Correct.
And when it's hard to measure because it varies all over the place. You've got tides, you've got waves. It's not easy to measure. It's a couple of millimeters a year, and it's been going on forever.
Our fact checker actually sent me a picture of Plymouth Rock, and it's still dry.
Yeah, right.
It hasn't changed, and it's right there.
Yeah, I think it comes an inch and a half a century or something like that.
Yeah, well,
and we will accommodate. We'll adjust. We'll build a seawall or whatever. I mean, look at how much architecture in the U.S. is over a century old. Not a heck of a lot.
Well, I remember living in L.A. in Upland, California in the 70s, and you had smog days. And all of that was taken care of with one little thing, the catalytic converter. And,
big chunk.
And that and the scrubbers that went on.
But the sunsets were cool when they were purple.
Yeah, they were.
That was
purple.
in Denver. They were purple.
Yeah.
LA is in that basin, and it's just a area where you get a lot of stagnant air. At certain times of the year.
That was Phil Silvers on the Beverly Hillbillies. He was going to drill a hole through the mountain so that and have a big fan on there, and that's what he was selling to Jed Clampett to get all the smog out of the basin. and it's from the California Association of
he was going to put fans
smog helpers. Yeah. And so you can, when you write out the check, just use the anagram CASH, instead. And that's Mr. Clampett just write the anagram on the check.
Just say cash.
Yeah, it's like
cash.
And so,
so what are the other predictions they didn't get?
Las Vegas had a 86-day temperature, reached 100 in 2006 area. We did living. He said that's going to increase where our average days will be more and more days over 100. Last year, there was only 77.
Yeah.
Another one, Katrina. Well, you remember Katrina, how terrible it was down in New Orleans and all that. Katrina had happened. He mentioned Katrina as being a result of warm waters and warmer temperatures. And then we're going to have more powerful Katrinas. He says it's going to look like nothing. It's going to be more powerful and more quantities.
Yeah, it's a false assumption.
It was really wrong. He said, there's a lot less hurricanes now since Katrina.
Right.
Katrina was a high spot.
See,
there were only 8 hurricanes from 22 to 24, but yet in 2003 to 2005, there were 14.
Yeah. Yeah. What drives these big weather systems is not whether the water is warm.
Yeah.
It's the differential between warm water and cold air or cold air. So if the differential goes down, it doesn't matter how warm it is. You're not necessarily going to get more systems. You'll probably get less if there's less differential.
Now, apparently in Africa, there's Lake Chad. I don't know where that is. Do you know where Lake Chad is?
I recall I'm trying to think of Central
That's
Africa.
where they found the coelacanth.
I don't know what coelacanth.
No, I think that was off the coast.
Yeah, but anyway, it was evaporating, and he said it would be completely gone. Well, actually, it's regrown, and the reason it was evaporating wasn't due to global temperatures. It was because people were taking too much off of it. And it's been restored, and it's up quite a bit now, apparently.
Well, what we've seen is as the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere has gone up,
it has
the Earth has gotten greener.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Saharan
like
desert,
a greenhouse.
The Saharan desert is actually shrinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's more plant growth, more trees, more shrubs, more everything. And that's just the opposite of what was predicted.
Well, in a lot of places, they're taking back the desert where they can.
Yeah, they've done some irrigation stuff and stuff going on. The Arctic sea ice, of course, was supposed to be gone, and we're supposed to be able to take cruise ships through the Arctic and all that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's actually growing a little bit now.
Yeah, it's stabilized. It seems like pretty much.
And but they had 2 ships that got caught in it last
not long ago.
That's why we need more icebreakers. And then Al tells everyone not to use airplanes, although he uses more of them than anybody. It's for the elite. It's not for the regular guys. He talks about Greenland, the ice sheet covered, and it's going to melt. Didn't.
I still say that, you know,
And
we
that
sent
would
Lee Marvin and the Dirty Dozen into Davos, and it wouldn't hurt the world,
probably.
you know.
But the Greenland was supposed to melt and raise the temperatures of the ocean.
Sure, yeah.
To where San Francisco, Netherlands, Florida, Beijing, Calcutta, Manhattan, Shanghai would be a catastrophic scenario, not happening.
It's scare science. It's frightening.
There was no
people.
science in it.
Well, that's exactly it. I'm trying to say it wasn't science. It was just a way to scare people to get the policies they wanted.
Every about 3 years, I get a phone call from somebody who has come up with a mathematical algorithm or whatever that has come up where they can predict commodities and the stock market.
Only every 3 years?
And they just need some money to do this. And I always look up and I go, okay, what you're talking about is an incredible amount of variables that you're going to have to hold constant. And the problem is the same thing with any of these models for climate change. But I always say to them, I go, okay, if you had this algorithm, you wouldn't tell anybody, okay? But all right, I'm going to show you how to do it. There's 5 horses running at Del Mar this afternoon. You come back and tell me how they're going to come in exactly, and we'll go over there and get the exacta bet, the trifecta bet, and the superfecta bet, and you show me that you can win that 3 times, and then I'll give you all the money you want. And they go, well, that's different. You can't do it on. And I go, that's not even close to the number of variables that you would have.
Well, it's just a general scam. Yeah. If you've got a scam, if you claim you can make a whole lot of money, then why do you need mine?
Yeah, exactly.
If just buy my book, you can make anything. Why are you selling it? Exactly right. The other thing he sums up, I guess, in the movie, again, I didn't see it, but I'm reading it. It says, if we do the right thing, then we're going to create a lot of wealth and a lot of jobs. Now, you hear the left saying that to this day, that it's green energy. Joe Biden was pushing green energy is going to create wealth and jobs to do green energy.
Yeah, but I can create all the jobs you want. We have one group dig a hole, and we have the next group come and fill up the hole. It doesn't create any wealth, but it sure makes a lot of jobs.
Look at the that billion over in the Mojave Desert that they just closed. That was supposed to have hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and they just closed it. It was a $2 billion boondoggle.
What the solar power?
The solar panel.
Yeah, it was $2.2 billion.
But the people who organized it ended up with a lot of money in their pockets.
Yeah, somebody got rich
because of the fact that they got the subsidies and everything else. It's like Solyndra, and my favorite one was they had the electric car that was it had Aston Martin Coachworks on it. And the Fisker, whatever. Anyway, one of the things was Steve Shadle here in town, one of the attorneys, had one, and Consumer Reports tested this car out and said no, because the first one they sent him didn't even couldn't even get off the truck.
Okay,
and the second one that they got went for about a mile before the battery went out, and the power plant on it was completely crud. It didn't work real well. The only guy that made any money was the guy from GM who took and bought 20 of them and then dropped them on the Coachworks onto a Corvette power plant.
Mm-hmm.
And then sold them on the Rob Report and made a bunch of money. But the thing is that Shadle had gotten one. He picked it up in San Diego, and it didn't make it from San Diego. The second one or the third one got all the way to Yuma and lasted a month before it went out. And he owned 250,000 shares in the company. I would have sold it after the second car. I would have sold out of the
hope springs eternal. Fortunately, we have Elon Musk now. So.
Yeah, it's doing a little better. The something he mentions in there is to change, and something he asks for specifically the audience, change the way you live. And of course, he wants you all to do it. None of the celebrities that get behind Al Gore, and this Article says it gave the celebrities a cause, which it did. The left is all about climate change or
They have been.
global
No, it's all
warming.
about control. It's
Well,
telling
of course,
you
of
what
course.
to do.
Well, and they use this as the catalyst.
Well,
This is
and that's what
it's
a
an
lot of people
excuse.
believe that the whole COVID thing was a test run
Yeah.
to see how many
No.
sheep they could get. And let's talk about this. All the people that ever saw the movie Schindler's List thought that they wouldn't be the people. And we saw this during COVID, people calling on their neighbors, people not allowing their family to come over who weren't vaccinated. And now you're all of a sudden seeing that if you're vaccinated, you can't go to a fertility clinic. If the husband and the wife are both vaccinated, they won't even take you as a client.
Well, I don't blame them. I mean, we should not keep breeding those that took the shot.
And it all backfired on them because now most people in the country don't trust that anymore.
No, they don't, and that's
or they don't trust any vaccines anymore. And the COVID vaccine was never a vaccine; they had to change the name on it. And
it's gene therapy.
And now the consensus. There you go. The as they always say, the consensus of scientists is that the MR thing
but here's the problem with consensus.
It does not work.
Let me wrap up on this first, George. But he asked change your ways, and of course the elite doesn't. And the elite is the one, and I'm talking Hollywood elite is the one that gets behind it.
Yeah, World Economic Forum
and all those guys, and none of them. And it points out that none of them are willing to change anything about their lives to solve climate change. They own private planes. Harris just bought an $8 million mansion in Malibu. They're spending their money. They have carbon footprints like countries.
On the beach, I think.
On the beach.
Which they say that the water level's going to rise.
But all of them that do this are signaling their virtue because they're climate change believers, and you should use one sheet of toilet paper while they buy another mansion on the beach. But it provides meaning to their life, according to this article. The guy thinks it provides meaning to their life. George gave them a cause to believe in, and
Al
Gore.
Yeah,
he gave that to them, and they believe in it. And I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, they're just virtue signaling. They want to outdo each other. All that as they attend all these premieres and award ceremonies and fly jets all over the world and tell us to cut back on carbon and drive a car that's so small your shoulders touch in the middle and you get 50 miles an hour.
I agree. I mean, people who examine the claims, I think with some sincerity, may believe that the Earth is rising, the temperature is rising at a gradual rate. But the logical ones I hear, even when they believe that, say, well, we don't have to change everything. We just have to adapt over time.
Yeah.
Well, also look at where the thermometers used to be. They used to be at a park, on lawn, and now it's on cement. And
yeah, you get the urban heat island effect, and that's a serious thing.
That has been brought up a lot. That it's not consistent, and for them to do the research, they didn't go back all that far. The planet's kind of old. They didn't really move back that far, and the science of digging the ice out and saying, well, the CO2 levels were this and all that.
See, all that's interpretive, right? And people interpret it in different ways, and you just don't have the precision that they're claiming they have.
Well, I like the congressman who came out the other day, and he said, "How much CO2 is there?" And they all came up with percentages, and he goes, "It's 0.000 such and such," and And you can't blame it on us, or frankly the cows. One thing about COVID was we figured out that cows weren't doing anything to hurt the environment.
It's currently 420 parts per million. I mean, that's not very much. I don't think
0.004%. I think.
Yeah,
I still like the thing from Ron. He goes, well, I'm vegan because of the fact that cows are bad for the environment. What are you doing? And he goes, I'm eating the cows.
Yeah, that'll help that one. Sounds like Ron White.
Yeah.
Sounds like Ron White. Jay Leno. An article in here about
we missed. That was a good show.
What show?
The Tonight Show one, Jay Leno.
Oh, I know, Tonight Show. Yeah, he was. That's back when they weren't doing so much political commentary.
Hardly any.
Yeah, he was funny. I mean, he didn't shy away from anything, but he was like equal equal
opportunity. And you got to
humorous.
remember when you had Hugh Grant on, what were you thinking? And it was like,
Well, apparently he's been married. He's a Hollywood kind of guy. He's been married for 45 years to a lady named Mavis, and she has all the, dementia, which is a tough deal. And he talks openly about the problems that he has in Hollywood because Hollywood's pressured him because of his wife. He says you have to take a vow when you get married, and people are stunned. They're so shocked that you would live up to it.
Yeah.
And he says, and he's being interviewed, and he says, in sickness and in health. Then when there's a sickness, you're there. You're saying to people are like, whoa. And he answers. He says, yeah, my favorite thing was that this is the most Hollywood thing. A guy said to me, so you're going to get a girlfriend now. Well, no, I have a girlfriend. I'm married. I've been married 45 years. Yeah, but you know what I mean. No, we're kind of together, You can't, honey, I'll be your girl with my girlfriend. I'll be back later. That was the most Hollywood thing. It just made me laugh. I mean, is there pressure in Hollywood like that?
Yeah.
I wrote on a show called Family Ties with Michael J. Fox. And there was an episode where Tracy Pollan was on, and we all fell in love with her. She was dating Kevin Bacon at that time. And when they broke up, Michael J. Fox immediately called her up before any of us could get a call in, and they were married within a year. Tracy Pollan has taken care of him through the longest Parkinson's that I've heard of anybody ever having.
But that's noteworthy because Hollywood isn't normally like that. And that's what Jay Leno's pointed out, that there's pressure for him to
abandon his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the person doing it's Maria Shriver asked, but you're saying that their reaction has been surprising to you. We just made a big deal out of it. You're just going to do the right thing because you're supposed to, right? That's that used to be the norm. And then when you strayed, that was the out of whack part. Now the out of whack part is fairly common, and staying and doing what you're supposed to do is stunning to people.
Yeah.
We are kind of like, make a deal, He's 75 years old. He's been married for 45 years since 1980. Never had children. But he says, stand by our side. It's not sacrifice, but responsibility, except decades ago.
But he's a really good godfather and uncle, too, because of the fact that the last show that he did of The Tonight Show, they brought out all the children that had been born since he took over the show.
All of them on the planet?
No, all the staff members as kids.
Oh, that's a lot.
And he goes, this is all the kids that were born of our staff during the time that we had the show. And that was kind of a neat thing on that.
But Mavis has been out of it for a while, in that he filed for conservatorship back in January of 24 because she just is not capable of taking responsibility for her own estate.
Yeah.
And taking care of that stuff. And she was a Nobel Peace Prize nominee in 2002 for advocacy of supporting Afghan women under the Taliban rule. So they met in the Comedy Store in Los Angeles in the 1970s. Probably George was in there.
Maybe.
Not in the 70s. It would have been
he wasn't out of high school yet.
I started hanging out at the Comedy Store in the Improv in 1984.
1984.
And what they would do, God, what was his name? The guy who was on Back to School, Sad, whatever his name was, the former preacher, comedian.
Yeah.
But you would start as a doorman, and that way you got to see all the other shows, and you learn timing and stuff like that from that. And then you hung around, and the main reason why you hung around the Improv and the Comedy Store was people like my cousin Susan would come in looking for writers, and then you got an assistant writing job on a show.
Sam Kinison,
yeah. And you got an assistant writing thing on a show, and that gave you money, to where you could afford to live in Los Angeles. But I mean, I raised real estate. I did magic at the Magic Castle. I mean, you did anything you could when you were in Hollywood before you started to make money.
Did magic help you get through law school?
Oh, heck yes. I used to do Merlin McFly's and Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco with Penn and Teller and the Amazing Jonathan and a number of other magicians that went on. Harry Anderson, who was on Night Court.
I liked him.
And so when we were on the street doing,
you would do street shows.
You would be out on the street, you had a permit, and you would teach the tourists how to play 3-card money.
Oh,
learn while you learn.
You taught them, or you took advantage of them?
Well, we taught them.
Okay.
By taking advantage.
Yeah.
And then you made balloon animals. That would make a buck or two a balloon animal, and I mean
that was some real money back then.
Did you go to school for balloon animal? Is there a balloon animal?
No,
class?
I got a job at Carlos Murphy's in Tucson, and they said I could be the house magician if I learned how to if I knew how to make balloon animals. And I said, I know how to make balloon animals. So I locked myself in my room for the whole weekend. The hardest part was learning how to blow up a stupid thin balloon
without hurting your cheeks.
No, it comes from the diaphragm.
Yeah.
Say, I want to make a Second Amendment update.
Do it.
It happens that the Trump administration yesterday announced a memo that they created, that the Department of Justice created, saying that the ban on sending handguns through the mail was unconstitutional under the Second Amendment, and they are not going to enforce it.
We talked about that before you came in, and it was a surprise to me, I guess. I didn't expect that one. I didn't
expect it either, because the Trump administration has been good at going after state laws, but they haven't really been going after federal laws. And this is a federal law from 1927, but it's completely abrogated by the Second Amendment. And that's what the Trump administration is saying. Hasn't gone through the courts, but as long as Trump is in power, they're not going to enforce it, which I think is interesting.
So by doing this, I can go ahead and mail a handgun today to Edward in Crystal City?
But the thing is, but it was interesting when you do that. A friend of mine had to send back a gun. There was something wrong with it from Ruger, and Ruger said, "Don't write Ruger on the mail thing. It has to just put the initials." Because of the fact, otherwise this thing will never make it there. It'd be like those tamales everybody tried to send me the Christmas before.
Yeah, you have to worry about theft for sure.
I mean,
I ordered a Colt 45 collectible that was engraved, and it came to me. It came in the mail to Sprague's.
Right, exactly.
It didn't come to me. It went to Sprague's.
It has to go to a federal.
I don't know if it was the post office or if they used a different delivery service.
Well, normally they're using FedEx now for most deliveries of firearms.
Don't ever use UPS. I had a lawsuit with Hostler on that.
But there is a problem in that the other delivery companies, UPS and FedEx, have charged the rates have gone up a lot, especially under I think the Obama administration, because there was a push to make them harder and harder for people to send things to get repaired and get back. And so you have to pay like $25 or $30.
Well, yeah, I got my federal firearms license years ago, and so that you could.
Yeah, then you can send it, because the federal firearms license dealers are exempted from the law.
Yeah, and and it doesn't cost that much to get one. I mean, you just have to take a.
Did you maintain it?
Stopped it about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have a gunsmith in Arlington that I use.
Right, like I use guy out in the foothills now, but I got rid of my FFL too because it was getting to the paperwork was complex enough. You didn't want to forget to dot an I or cross a T, and you with the potential felony. And under an administration like the Biden, they were
going after people. Yeah. Well, Ed Martin, who's the head pardon attorney, I swore in to the Supreme Court this year. I made the motion for him because
Arizona.
No, the
federal Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the United States Supreme Court.
Okay, but not as a justice. You swore him in.
Swore him in as a member of the bar.
Yeah. Okay.
But Miss Alice is the pardon czar. It took us 18 years to get her out, and the
Well, you're talking about a pardon so that she could own firearms, or what?
to get her out of jail, but she's now the pardon person. But the thing is
Oh,
that
okay.
all these, I'm getting, a lot of the pardons that we've been working on recently are from the Biden administration, where they went after people for
Yeah, they
whatever,
exactly, yeah.
Coolio or whatever from Texas, that
Yeah, I'm trying to
he
remember.
went after Biden on congressman or senator from Texas, and he was a Democrat, and he went after Biden on the border, and so Biden trumped up some bribery charges,
Yeah, okay,
and
now I remember that
and
case, or I think I
and
remember it.
so you know the thing is that Trump's been going through it. If it came under the Biden administration and you were a political, uh,
If it's federal charges, you can pardon them, yeah.
yeah, and President Trump has been going through this, but Miss Alice, who is the pardon czar, was supposed to be pardoned by Obama. The Kardashians were behind her and everything else, and it was a big deal. And then right before she was supposed to be pardoned, we got a phone call from one of the people and said, well, before this pardon happens, a $65,000 check has to be given to the Obama Library Fund. And she didn't have the money, and the Kardashians weren't going to come up with it. And so she didn't get the pardon.
That's when you want a digital recorder.
And so when Trump came in, this was teed up for him, and he looked up and goes, I don't need $65,000. Pardon her. And then she started working for him, and even Van Jones on CNN said that she was a perfect pick for a pardon czar.
So in terms of sending guns through the mail, I wouldn't worry about sending one to yourself, saying you're going to Maine and you don't want to get put in jail in New York. You could send a pistol to Maine and then pick it up when you get there.
I would think that's a better idea than getting popped at LaGuardia.
LaGuardia. People have been, and they've spent a lot of time and money trying to fix it.
Well, we still got people that is. We have a doctor here. I got a phone call before Thanksgiving who went across the border and just had 3 shotgun shells in the back of his car.
In Mexican border?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a serious offense.
And just the thing from an AR-15, just
a magazine,
nothing in it, but just the
magazine.
Right,
just empty magazine.
And he's still sitting in jail down there.
Yeah, they take it seriously. It takes a lot of money to get you out.
Anything you go across the border, which is hilarious because of how much guns are coming back across the other way.
But anyway, that's separate. We're talking about mailing guns inside the U.S., and the DOJ now says they will not prosecute cases. And we're talking specifically about handguns. So all of that is happening. This memo just came out yesterday, and I'm sure we'll get guidance from people who start testing the system.
Was never on rifles.
No, never on rifles or shotguns.
So if you had a rifle and you just send it away to get it fixed, you could do that.
Right. Like I came across a great deal on a rifle when I was temporary duty in Louisiana 30, 40 years ago, and it was a fantastic deal. So I bought it because I legally could buy it under the law, and then I sent it to a dealer friend of mine up in Wisconsin, and eventually sold it for a profit. It was one of those not Yugoslavian, who's Finnish versions of an AK, and they've become quite valuable. I wish I'd have kept it for a while.
So if you're going to Vegas, how would you buy a gun at this show?
They don't sell guns there.
Oh, they don't?
Okay. They specifically have a ban on doing retail sales. You'd have to make a deal to make the deal after the show.
Oh, that makes sense.
And this is a new tech. You want to go and look at new stuff coming.
Well,
out.
they have everything from antiques on. There's an antique show. There was an antique show that would happen right after, on the weekend after the SHOT Show.
Really?
And I went to that a couple of times. And the first time I went, it was fantastic. And the second time, they toned it down a lot. I mean,
so what's the focus of the SHOT Show? What are you going to get?
It's to make industry contacts. You have a lot of retailers looking for suppliers. We have people showing off their products that they have for sale. A lot of new stuff. So it's a combination of new technology, just people trying to make business work. And I think for a lot of
Do you have
people,
like the shooting things where you get to go in and shoot at the?
not at the show itself, but they have an industry day at the range where they go to a range over at is it Boulder? It's the little town right Boulder City, right next to the dam over there. They have a range over there on industry day at the range, and if you are well enough thought of, you can get an invite to go there, and then mostly it's for media. And so I have gotten the invite the last few years, and so you go there and you shoot the new stuff, the new technology they have. Like when Keltec came out with their PR 57 for the new 5.7 pistol, they had that there. I shot that last year. And I wrote it up, and then now I'm telling you other article on it.
Yeah.
Well, I went through one of those things the other day at I can't remember which AUSA or whatchamacallit, and it was and you got to go through the room, and they had projection. That was really fun.
Yeah, those are interesting.
And I got killed by the gal who had a shotgun underneath the stroller. I mean, I didn't see that. I mean,
you didn't make it out.
No, I mean, but you get it. You go walking in. It's for first responders, and it goes. They're in there, okay, and you're supposed to automatically. Okay, there's more than one. If they say they're in there, and so you're looking for these people as you go through, and then you don't know who's the good guy or who's the bad guy, and you have to not shoot the good people.
Yeah, shoot, don't shoot. Those are fun houses, and they teach you to be careful, and you're at a disadvantage if you're seeking out targets.
And and it's just scary by the end of it. It was
teaches you to be a little more cautious.
Yeah, but when I took the civilian to get the civilian license for all the way around the country, concealed carry permit.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
Well, you can get appointed to be a U.S. Marshal, auxiliary, or something like that. Law enforcement officers can carry all over the country, whether they're on duty or retired. So there are ways that you can work around. Right now, I don't know, but if you know one, George, I'd love to find out about.
Well, it's an interesting one for most of the states, but it's out
Utah permits 36 states.
And it's out of Nevada. But the fun part about taking the class was this was the opposite of the first responders. It was more of because these guys said, the guy who was teaching it goes, in the old days, if somebody came up and wanted to dance with my girlfriend, we're out and I was a football player. We're out in the parking lot solving the problem later on. He goes, but nowadays, if somebody comes up and wants to dance with my wife, I'm going to give them money for drinks so that I can go home and watch TV, which is what I wanted to do in the first place, But it basically the whole thing is that they teach you how not to be part of the deal when you walk in.
To avoid confrontations,
and how to spot the wolves versus the sheep and make sure that the sheep are protected. And if you don't remember that one kid the other day who had a open carry state, and he pulled out a gun and
Rittenhouse?
No,
we're talking about the fellow in Indiana. I'm trying to think
at a mall.
Yeah, it was
got his girlfriend and his mother behind him, and then took the guy out within 30 seconds.
I think it was even less than that. The bad guy went to the bathroom and assembled his AR there. He had a couple of them. Came out, killed a couple of people. One of the first ones that he killed was somebody who was concealed carrying, but he had no reaction time. He just shot him right off. But that gave the notice, and I'm trying to think of his name too. I'm not going to get it right off, to the fellow. He was about 40 yards away, sitting at a table in the food court. And so when this guy came out and shot a couple of people, he pulled out his 9mm Glock, and his girlfriend was with him. And he shot the guy. He shot at him 10 times from 40 yards away and hit him 8 out of 10. It was pretty good shooting.
It's pretty good, especially in an adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
within a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it was fast. I think it was all 15 seconds altogether.
Yeah, but he saved the whole place.
Yeah, the whole place was full of people, and the bad guy, I think, killed 3 people.
Wow!
Yeah. So it stopped it relatively quickly.
Saved a lot then.
Yeah, that's what. And the police chief, gave him credit and said, "Yeah, he did the right thing." And they had just passed open carry, I think, a few weeks earlier in in
He probably got
Indiana.
sued by the person's parents for wrongful death.
Well, you can still see. On X the mini mart here where the Marine took down
Oh,
the
yeah.
2 kids.
Wasn't it out by Foothills, I think?
Yeah, out by the
Brandon.
No, it's out by where the sheds are for the produce thing on that road that's over by Pasquinelli Produce.
Okay,
down
but yeah, the Marine, this guy, or who was I forget if it was a woman or a guy.
It was a guy,
and he pulled out a gun to have a do a stick up. Apparently,
Yeah,
there was a Marine
14-year-old, 15 or
right next to him, and the Marine just overpowered and took the gun.
Yeah,
away.
that was well, he punched him in the face.
Yeah.
And he was holding a bag of Gatorade, and he didn't drop it. He just held it and punched him in the face. It was Brandon's the guy's name.
The Marine.
The Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marine.
What's that old line from Spinks? Or no, who's the one who's married to Michael Steele's, the guy who was in who's the name of the boxer?
So is it a line from Four Marines, or
no? He was a boxer. He has a thing on his face. He was on The Hangover.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson had one great line, which was, "Everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face."
That's his deal.
Yep.
Hey, I got a public announcement to make. Someone just sent it to me. There's an engine tractor show in Pole at Welton, which I've gone to before, but it's today, Saturday and Sunday on 12th Street. So,
and it's
starts
for a
at
good
10 o'clock.
cause too. It goes the $5 admission fee goes to the 4-H.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll take your word
it's
for
only
it.
$5, pretty cheap.
Yeah.
They do impressive things, I understand.
It's a lot of fun, to go and.
Have you been there?
Yeah. They have displays, and there's guys with tractors that just love to see how powerful they are, and they start pulling the sleds. You've seen that before.
Okay.
And stuff. Tractors, trucks, I don't care. They like big diesels.
Yeah.
They do. Anything else on
Not exactly climate change friendly. How's that?
I'll be back. I got to take a quick break. AM 560.
Sunny skies today with a high of 80, clear and 54 tonight. 80 and sunny on Saturday, 50 and clear Saturday night. Partly cloudy and 80 on Sunday.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. It's 7:58. George here. Dean's here.
Glad to be here.
We only got a minute or so, George. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm going back to Washington on Sunday night.
And leaving Yuma. So if anyone wants to see George, give him a call before then. Nothing else on the on guns? Was there another one?
Well, we had the NFA is taking the tax off of silencers, short-barreled rifles, and shotguns, and the applications over 1 million, probably over 1.1 million since the 1st of January. That's going crazy, and it's still continuing.
And apparently the processing is happening faster.
Pretty fast. Most people are getting it back within a week, some within hours.
So yeah, it's time to own silencers.
And Senator Ricketts from Nebraska is coming on in the next 2 weeks.
I haven't talked to him in a couple of years.
And Neil McCabe will be on in next week too.
I'd like to see him too. I haven't talked to him. I'll be back, after this because we got some more money talk. AM 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's